So you made it all the way to the Amazon Loop, and for the last couple of days you've been staring at those 14 leadership principles, and you prepared not one but 2 examples for each and every one of them. Furthermore, you went through the list of 35 most commonly asked behavioral questions, and not just that, but you prepared answers for the full list of 150 possible behavioral questions. So what could go wrong here? Well, it cannot be because you have technical skills, because otherwise why would they invite you for the loop in the first place? But just to be sure, you prepare those, you refresh those technical skills for 1 or 2 days. So what could go wrong here? Then 3 days before the interview, you realize that maybe your answers are not that great, so you ask your brother, sister, or significant other to do some role play with you, and you do this for 5 hours until you feel like you know each and every answer by heart. So what could go wrong here? Then the day before the interview, you realize that maybe your CV is not that great, so you iron out some final details there. You print them out with the hope that you can pitch it to your audience so they can see what you want them to see. Then during the day of the interview for 5 hours, you answer each and every question to the best of your knowledge, as diligently as you can, and they reject you. Why could this be? You see, these people on the interviewing panel are just looking for other people to whom they can relate with whom they are willing to share their office space with. So while the theory is important and the leadership principles are at the essence of any Amazon interview, finally you will always be evaluated on the energy that you deliver while interviewing for Amazon. So many people underestimate the importance of putting together a great show, which can be summed up in one word as your ability to entertain. So here is some hopefully useful advice when it comes to doing better with entertaining an interviewing panel. Avoid memorizing stuff. Just make a quick test, record yourself while reading any random paragraph and then play it out loud. I guarantee you won't sound engaging or entertaining at all. Avoid staying quiet for long periods of time. For example, after you're asked a question, if you don't have an immediate answer, you can start brainstorming out loud, or you can repeat the question, or you can ask some follow-up questions there, or if you haven't already, try to keep eye contact with your audience. There are all sorts of tricks, and I'm sure you're going to find something out during the heat of the moment. Just ensure that you always keep your audience engaged. Keep your answers concise. There's no need to mention 5 sentences about your situation. They'll fall asleep if you start sugarcoating your failures and talk about the learnings of a boring failure. If you read your answers, and if you speak your answers out loud, you have a much better chance of knowing whether what you say is interesting or not. Make them understand that you really, really want the job, and you can emphasize this through various tricks, but this is usually emphasized through the energy that you deliver while talking your answers, and this applies to any type of answer, whether if it's technical or behavioral. And your goal here is for you to make them understand that you are someone easy and interesting, and someone who's curious in their day-to-day job. And you will have very few chances to convince them that you're the type of guy who they want to work with if you memorize all those 150 behavioral questions. And finally, try to read the room. Try to keep your audience engaged at all points. If you feel at any point that they are becoming disinterested, then you will feel, it's inevitable that you will feel this happening at some points, because the loop is for a couple of hours with different people. And if you spot this, try to do whatever you can to bring them back into the discussion, because your end goal is to put together a great show and to entertain.